All right, guys. So today we're gonna learn how to make bread. It's gonna be fun. You do a few loaves, and you'll become like experts on it, right? This is Grandpa's bowl, big old bowl, and then that's Nana Sandy's bowl. And these are nice because you can grab them and spin them, and they don't move around much, and they're nice and heavy, and all that. We got the starter, we got the water, we got the utensils in the water, we got the flour over there. That's some salt, and all of our mixing tools ready to go. All right. So step one. Grandpa in his gigantic bowl, which it's like driving a bus. It's good. So you get the bowl and you get the scale. First thing we're going to do, turn on the scale, right? And when it comes on, you want to make sure that it's with a G on there. I'm sure it has it on your scale. That means grams. Grams are the easiest way to use, right? So then we're going to take the bowl and set it on top of this, right? And then it's going to show, it's going to take all that weight of that. But we're going to zero it out. What that means is when you push this again, it makes it zero. So now it's not counting the bowl. Now it's only what you're putting into it. It's weighing. So we're going to go with water first. We have filtered water from the refrigerator. It was cold, so we put it in the microwave for about 25 seconds and all, just to get it lukewarm. You don't want it warm, but just like where it's not cold. All right. All right. It's zeroed out, and we're going to put in 340 grams of water. So you're going to pour it in, and while you're pouring it, sometimes it'll go fast. You want to stop, let it catch up, because it takes a second to catch up, as you can see, right? And I know it takes almost this whole cup, and we'll put it in, and I'll go up to about 300, and then I'll start getting a little bit slower, because it's not a big deal if you go over. And that's, woo, see, like that, it's 343. So what I usually do, I'll pour this in the water here, and I'll just scoop some up. And it doesn't take much. A gram is not a whole lot of water. Oop, it's probably way too. Oh, there, 340. That's what we're looking for. So at 340, now we got the water in there. Now we're going to go to salt. Or no, not salt. Sorry. We are going to go to the starter. So, and once you guys have your good starter, you can see mine here. It's Lieutenant Bubbles. And when we mixed him, he was down here originally, but you can see he's grown all the way up to here. And you see all the bubbles in there. And I don't know if you can see inside, but he's a really good starter. So we're going to take this, and we need 110 grams of starter. Zero it out again. Make sure it's zero. Now we're starting zero, and we'll grab the little paddle here, hold it over, and then this one's a little tricky, but you got to watch what you're doing and come in to, keeps going. If you got a big glob going, you know it's going to weigh a lot, like right there. So now we're at 104. We're getting close. I just want a couple little drops. Wait for it. Sometimes you have to ding it. And just, that's probably way too much. Oh, right there. 110. Woo! Puts the starter down. And now I'm going to grab, well, I can probably grab the paddle here. And I'm going to mix the starter in the water, right? You just want to get it all mixed in. It'll start turning cloudy, and you want to break it up. The next thing we're going to be adding is the flour. And we're going to be putting 2 types of flour in. It's going to equal total 500 grams, right? We're going to do 50 grams of wheat flour, because it kind of helps it stay strong. It adds a little flavor. And then 450 of white. So, but we're going to put it all in at one time. I'm going to show you how to do it. I go with the brown first, so you don't have to be perfect. If it goes over a little bit, it doesn't matter. And you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So now that that's mixed up, we're going to zero this back out, because that was how much starter we put in there. So zero it out. And you got to keep reminding yourself, got to zero it out before you put it in. And now we're going to go with the flour. Like I said, I start with the brown first. That way, if I go a little bit over, it's no big deal, right? So now I'm going to put in about 50 grams of this brown flour. And remember, it takes a little bit to catch up in your scale. You'll get used to it. And if you go over, it's no big deal. You just take it out. There we go. 50. Pour that back in. So now, well, 52. And if I wanted to, I could just scoop it like that before it got wet. And yeah, it's 49. That's close enough. So we're going to finish this off with white flour, and we're going to make it go to 500 grams, right? So you just keep adding to it. So we already have the 50 in there, and then you know this is going to be, it's going to take a few scoops of this to go 450. So we're going to add it all in. Keep going. Get it all over the place. All right, we're getting close. All right. Getting close. Ooh, look at that. Oh, 503. I just scoop a little bit off. That's probably way too much. Come on. This is where you ding it. See, and it says 5 ones. All right, that's good enough. We don't need to be, 1 gram is like dust, right? So now that we have that in, we're going to go with salt. So now we got the 500 grams of both flours. Zero it out again. And now we're going to put in 10 grams of salt. And this one, being how it's so light, you got to really let it catch up, right? So I'm just going to sprinkle. This we got from Walmart too. It comes in a little cap. It works really good. I love it. So it's fine sea salt. So 10 grams, and I just sprinkle very lightly. It's not very much. Oh boy, it's going to go over. Perfect. There we go. 10 grams. And that's it. So that's all the ingredients it is. It's 500 grams of flour, 340 grams of water, and 10 grams of salt. Boom. Easy, right? Now we're going to pull it off the scale. We're not going to need that for a while. We'll set it aside. And I'm going to grab, we have this mixer thingy right here. Probably should get you guys one too. Kind of curly. It's sharp. You know, the edges are very square. And it works really good. It's really easy to hold on to. So now I'm just going to start mixing it up. And I don't want to go too high on the bowl because I don't want to get dough all over the place, right? It's going to stick to everything. And this is why I like my bowl. See, I can drive it. I can move it around. All right, so I'm scraping it. I'm going to get just the basic, all the dough mixed in there like this real fast. It's no big deal. It's real easy. You can see it start taking root. All right, and at this point, I'm just going to scrape the sides a little bit real quick. I know I'm going to get this stuff off the sides here very soon. So now it's just pre-mixed up. It's really dry, right? And I'm going to wet my fingers, right, in here because I know when you wet them, things don't stick to it very good. And I can get all the dough off of here. It's very sticky. All right, so I'm going to have to use my hands now, which is fun. My hands are very clean, and you got to make sure you don't have stuff in your, my nails are all clipped and clean and all that stuff because you don't want stuff underneath your nails. So I will wet my hands in the water. You don't need like a ton. Just barely get them wet like this, right? And then what I'm going to do is hold the bowl with one hand, and I'm just going to squeeze it just like this. This is all I'm doing. I'm squeezing it, and I'm just trying to get all that dry mixed in there, right? So flip it over, do what you need to do, and you just want to keep mixing it. And it's all going to come into to be a nice little bowl. When I get it to about this point here, then I start using both hands, and I'm just squeezing it, like pinching it. And you can already see it taking shape. and the bottom is always going to be a little bit more stickier, so I'll flip it over. And you don't want to be in a hurry. You don't have to, be in a hurry. This doesn't take that long. And then now you can see the dough on the sides are starting to stick to the dough, making it like a magnet, which is really good. So sometimes I'll pinch for like a couple minutes, and then I'll kind of grab it from the bottom, pinch it, fold it in there, grab it from the bottom, and you'll develop your own way, whatever works for you. I'll spin the bowl so I can get to the wet stuff on the bottom, and you just want to mix all that stuff in. You just want to make sure this. And when I do this, I'm like digging underneath it, so it's not too sticky. And you can see it's not really sticking to my hands that much. This flour is really good. And I'll take my fingers and kind of do like this. You can do whatever it is, but you're just trying to get it all mixed up. Squeeze. Sometimes I'll wet my hands a little bit if it starts sticking. And it's starting to come together really good. It's sticking to the side of the bowl a little bit, but as you can see right in there. But that's that's gonna happen throughout the whole process. But you kind of I can feel it, and it's like gum, kind of. You can feel it when you pull it, like rubber. And you don't want to tear it, but it gets pretty springy. See, and I can feel it starting to get a little sticky again. Just a little bit of water. Just keep squeezing that. And then, like I said, I gotta get the stuff off the bottom, kind of flip it upside down right there, and then start working on the bottom, getting that in there. Because I don't know, the moisture settles to the bottom or something. I'm not sure. And then once I get to this point, it starts feeling pretty good. I like making it, putting tension into it, as you'll see once you start learning. You kind of grab it a little bit, not squeeze it too hard, and I just wiggle it, and I've just folded into each. Grab it over here, wiggle it, fold it in there, wiggle it a little bit, put it in the middle, keep spinning the bowl, put it in the middle. Kind of, you're just really kind of being gentle, but, picking up the weight so it stretches. But you don't want to over squeeze it and all that, right? And then right here, it's starting to take shape really good for the first part. And that's about it. That's all you need to do the first part. And you're basically done mixing the dough, right? Now we're just going to kind of make it so the gluten is getting strong and the strands are getting throughout the dough and all that, which works really well. So you take like I said, stretching it makes it strong and makes it unsticky. So I start doing it right now. I like develop the gluten, the strength in this, and fold it over. And you can see right here, see all the stuff on the side and on my hands. Eventually it's going to come off. And I'll just like make a little ball, kind of like chase it around the edge like this, if you can see. And you'll get used to it. It's weird at first. Everything's going to stick to you, and then you're going to get used to it. It just takes, you got to keep doing it and practice. When I first did this, you can see on my thing, I had stuff everywhere, but you really get used to it, and it's no big deal. All right, so right here, this is good. This is good, where it's mixed up. We're going to take one of the, we don't have the shower curtains out. And we're going to cover the top of it, and we're going to let it sit for an hour. All right, we'll be back after that hour. Okay, so here's the big tip. I mean, you're working with dough. You're going to get dough all over your fingers, and it's sticky. And if it gets hard, it's like concrete. So, you don't want it going down the drain, as I'm sure everybody's told you. And we have those little things that we sent, the little plastic wraps that go on your sink. So what I do to get it off, I'm not going to wash my hands in the sink. I'm just going to wet them, right? I just let them get wet like that. And it's going to soak into the flour on your hands. And then what you have to do is grab a paper towel. And then you got to grab your fingers, and it's messy, and you just kind of pull it off like that. You can see it coming off, right? And it's going to take 2 paper towels at least, right? Some of the stuff, that's what that drain, that little plastic stuff down there, the net works. But you can see, like right now, it's starting to dry, so it's getting harder on my hands again. So you can see that, right? And I'll wet it again. Let it sit for a couple seconds, and then grab the towel, and then now you just wipe it off, and it comes right off. And you're done. And the next process is you're not going to get nearly as much dough on your hand. It's going to come right off. You'll barely even have to wash your hands. Anyway, that's what you do. It takes a couple seconds, and you're going to have it on your knuckles and your fingernails and stuff sometimes, and you can just work on getting that off. So at least you don't have any hair on your knuckles, so it doesn't pull the hair off, which hurts. So anyway, on to the next step. Okay, so it's been an hour. Let's look at the dough. Let's see what it looks like. So it's just sitting like that, right? And now we're going to do a thing called a slap and fold, and that's to build the strength into it, and it takes away even more of the stickiness. So how we're going to do that is you can either get water, put it on your hands, and then just wipe it on a smooth surface. We have this Corian countertop, and it's real smooth. So you just wipe it on there, and then I'm going to dig in, kind of take up the edges because I don't want to go around. And then now that I can see that it's loose, I'm going to pick it up like this, and you can see it kind of stretching, and I'm going to slap it on. Wham! Just like that, and then fold down. And then you want to grab it from this side, pull it up. Now it's sticking to the thing. It's okay. Slap and fold. Slap and fold. And you just do this for a couple minutes. Well, not even a couple minutes. Slap and fold. See how it's not sticky no more? How nice and smooth it's looking? It only takes a few of them. Hold it like that. I just wiggle it. Try to get it a little bit, and now the dough's not sticky at all. And then, woo, that was a good one. Put it over. See, like that. Wiggle it. I want at least 4, and I know I probably got about 6 right now, but just trying to show. Just wiggle it without, squeezing it too hard. Slap and fold, and that's it. Now you see it's a nice ball. I'll squeeze the ends like that. Nice. Put it back in. And you can see how round it is and nice. It's not getting all flat, and that's it. So we'll let it sit for a half an hour, and then we'll come back to that. Okay, so we've done the first slap, well, because you only do one, slap and fold. So now we're going to do the stretch and fold in the bowl, right? So you just take it off, and you look at the dough here. This is pretty tight, which means it's like keeping form. When it's loose, when they're talking about, that means it's just kind of flattened out. It's just like all even. When it's domed and it still retains shape, that's when they say the dough is tight. So, and that's what you want. So right now, looking at it, we're gonna stretch it out and then just fold it over. It's real simple. So just get in there. It's gonna be a little sticky at first, but you pull it like this, and you don't want to rip it. And I kind of wiggle it, makes it, and then you fold it down like that, right? And it's sticky, but all of that will come off. So you fold it over, you spin the bowl, you kind of get underneath it a little bit, and kind of pull it up like this, and then fold it over just like that, and then rotate it again. And it's getting harder to stretch, and sometimes I'll put a finger in there to make sure I get a good fold. And this flour is just so good, it doesn't take much. So you see that's like 4, and now it's like I gotta almost grab it with my hands and wiggle it to get it to fold. And most people never do that, but I want to get a few of them in there. Last one. I think I can get one more, maybe. Yeah, see, it's so tight. It's not stretching. It's not sticking, Well, not sticking much. But I'll find the wet part of it, maybe wiggle it, This is the last one. And you want to be gentle with it. You know, I'm not really squishing it down. Fold it up, make it into a ball, and that's the dough. And that's it. Only takes a minute or so. Pop it back down. You can see that it's round. It looks great. And that's it. You put the lid back on it, or the little shower cap on it, and then you go another half hour. So when you first mix it up, an hour, you do the slap and folds, wait a half an hour, and this is the first stretch and fold. Half an hour. We've got 2 more to do.
Hi guys, so we're about 30 minutes after Grandpa Tom showed you our first set of stretch and folds. So now this is going to be the second one, and we'll have one more after that. So we're going to do the same process that Grandpa Tom did. I'm going to wet my fingers a little bit to make sure it doesn't stick to my fingers. But this is what mine looks like. Yeah?
Pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. And then I kind of scoop it around to kind of loosen it a little bit. And then we're going to start with a stretch, exactly what it says. Stretch and fold. Turn it. See, it's getting even harder. If you remember when Grandpa Tom did it, it was stretch a little bit farther, but once you get to this point, it just comes up with it. So stretch it enough to get some tension and then fold over. And you want to be careful. Try not to rip the tension, because the tension is what helps build the structure of they call it the gluten, and then it keeps those bubbles inside. Look at that. It's barely even trying to do anything. But yeah, just keep it. And when the dough starts kind of fighting back in a way, that's about when you're done with your next session. So this one is actually really, really tight. Stretch and fold, and it's already making a ball itself. Look at that. It's not going anywhere.
Where would it go? It's got a buzz.
Get in my belly when it's actually cooked. But yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of what it looks like. I'm gonna make it a little bit rounder, a little bit prettier. It's kind of what we like to do. Tuck it in those ends, and I'm even gonna take a look here. I did a little stretchy. All right, yeah. And there you have it. Put the little hat on. One more set, 30 minutes from now.
Okay, so we're on our third stretch and fold. So after this one, we put into the plastic container so it can bulk ferment, and we're going to leave it in there. It's going to be in there at least probably 6 hours. Depends on temperature. But before we do this, we've learned, so when you pull it out, the dough, when we get to that part, you know, sometimes it'll stick on the sides, and you don't want that really. So we'll put a little bit of oil in, and I take my hands, and it's very little. We don't want really hardly any in there. And I'll just wipe it around, and it feels pretty dry. I just spin it like this, and it just makes it kind of fall out a little bit easier. I think it does good. Like I said, there's not much. It's not like you have any oil in there. It's just barely lined the walls. That's all. That's all you want. So we do that. We have it ready. And let's look at our dough. I'll make sure I don't have oil in my hands. And the last one. So I'm going to get underneath it. Ooh, and I like that. Look at that stretch. Fold it. Turn it. Get up underneath it. This is what? Number 3. And I can barely get 4 out of this. I have to have to worry. This is not usual. People don't do that, but I feel like I need to. Maybe one more if I really work at it. I don't know. Maybe. And I probably shouldn't have, but I'll fold it in half. Just kind of ball it up like that. It's so easy to get this into a ball. I'm putting my finger underneath it and I'm just kind of rolling it around on the bottom here. And this builds up, as they say, tension, and just makes it into like a big old ball. But you don't want it to start tearing. So this is all it takes. Just a little bit of work like this. All right. And once I have it like that, it looks great. See it kind of getting down a little bit. I'm going to pick it up, just dump it in there, kind of wiggle it around. And that's it. Cover it up. Do that. And now you have the heating element. We have one. I point towards ours over there, but you want to put it on the heating element, and you can put the probe in there to see what temperature it is. But as long as you want to keep it about 77, 78 degrees, and it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. So it depends time wise. It's kind of the temperature and what you've done that we'll see. When it's ready to go to the next step. So I'll see you at the next step. All right. So now our dough had been sitting in, we have a box that kind of regulates it, the temperature. But so it's been in there about 7 hours, maybe 7 to 8 hours in all. And you can see it started right here. And now it's raised up that much. You can see all the bubbles on top. So it looks pretty good. But big thing is, and not always, but you touch it. And if it springs back a little bit, and if you can pull it away like this, and it's pulling away pretty good from the edges. It's not sticking to it. So, but before you do that, we need to get your Banton bowls, I think they're called, and you put the canvas little cap on it, push it down, and then we have, the little duster that I filled with some flour, and then I usually flour it over where I'm going to work because we need to take this out, and I'll show you how we shape it before we put it in the bowl. So just give it a light dusting, and you want to make sure you cover it good. Don't worry about using too much, or it's probably better too much than too little. So you can see that. That's good enough. And now I'll just kind of sprinkle some out here. I don't want it to stick to the thing, and I probably should have done that. So, but I'll get my hands a little bit on my hands as well, and then I'll grab this, and I don't want to tear it, but you can see it's already kind of coming loose by itself. And I put it down on the thing because I don't want it hanging from way above, right? And I'll help it a little bit. Kind of pull it away, and then you kind of push it back that way, and boom, it all comes out. Almost all. Got a little bit left in there. All right, so I don't overwork it because it's got all the bubbles that we want to keep in there. So, but we need to shape it before we put it in the bowl, right? So you want a kind of little of a rectangle. So I'll just pull it and make a little square. And just want to pull it gently, and it doesn't need to be very big. Some people, they'll go like really wide, and I don't think that's very good. And I just kind of do the short side of the rectangle, right? So we'll fold this one over about 1/3, and you just come back on it just like that. That's it. And then we're going to roll it up, pinch the ends, and I'm going to shape it a little bit and put it in the bowl, right? So I grab the end right here, because remember, it's got all the bubbles in here, and we want to keep those bubbles there. So I don't try to squeeze it too hard. And I'm roll it around, and now I squeeze the ends because you want to cap those off. And then now I'm just going to shape it by pulling it and pull it towards you. And sometimes I have a hard time with this. But you see it's a nice little ball, and I plop it down that way, just like that. And that's about it. That's good to go. We'll put the cap back on it and we'll put it in the refrigerator and it'll sit in there for anywhere from 8 to 12 hours and then we'll cook it. So we'll see you then. Okay, so it's the next day. This is the funnest time, right? So we put the dough in our banyan bowl and we put it in the refrigerator and it's been there overnight. So, but before this, I've taken the oven and I put it on 450 degrees with the Dutch oven inside. So it's been heating up, as you see, and it's been over an hour. So it's ready to go. It's all hot, very hot. You got to be very careful. Those gloves are coming to you. So you probably have them by now. All right, so let's get this going. Gonna grab my bowl out. And now they're not gonna rise or nothing like they did when they were warm, right? Because they're cold, they're in the refrigerator. So it looks like this. That's how it should look. And we're gonna lay it down. This is what we're going to put it in and leave it in the Dutch oven. This just stays in there. It doesn't melt or anything. These are really cool. So what I do, I flip it upside down. I center it. I put my hand right here and I just flip it over. That way it's right there in the center, almost center, and you can kind of move it around. So it's in there. And next you grab your little tool that's scoring, right? And Grandpa likes to do just a crisscross, right? And that's so it can grow and it can get bigger and it doesn't, it's all, it just blows up. So when you cut it, you want to cut it pretty good. You go in about that far and just cut it, keep it deep, kind of hold it so it's not moving around. And then I'll get this side, try to do about the same. Sometimes you have to saw it, sometimes you don't. And then I look, because right here, I kind of have to, I want to go back through it. Don't worry about going too deep. You're fine. I like it because sometimes I've gone deep and it doesn't do what I wanted it to do. All right. So we have the cross on there. It's looking good. Next thing is we're going to have some parchment paper and you want to crinkle it up. And then we're going to put this at the bottom of the Dutch oven. So that's not directly sitting on the bottom. It keeps it from burning, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to fit in there, right? So I also have ice cubes over there. You want to put one ice cube in the pot first, then this, and then this on top, all right? So let's see if we can get that done. So I'm going to put this over here. And grab this. I'm going to put my ice cube out. Now this is extremely hot, so I'm just going to set this down right here. Throw my ice cube in. Put this right in there. And now I'm going to grab, I'm going to do this. Nope, we don't need these. All right, so we're going to put this in right in the center and just let it go. Don't grab that without a thing. I'm going to grab this lid. Make sure the lid's on because those rubber things kind of keep it. You want to make sure it's on. Slide it back in and set the timer for 28 minutes. And that's it. And then we get to see if everything worked. All right. See you soon. All right. So it's been baking for 28 minutes. You can smell it. It smells great. We're going to check it out. This is the moment of truth. When we lift it up, let's see what it looks like. Turn off that. Here we go. Ooh, and there you go. Look at that. Going just fine. Now we leave it off and we're going to cook it for about 13 minutes with the lid off. And that's it. It smells so good. All right. We'll see you on the next one. All right. So we are done. It's winding down. We got about 6 seconds left. Going to pull it out, set it on top, pull the thing and put it over on the thing. Let's go. those off. Let's take a look. Woo-wee. Look at that. Little bit on the edge. Probably should have taken that out a minute or so earlier, but it's not a big deal. Let's carry it over here. And then I'm going to pick it up. It is very crunchy, and the paper is. Ooh-wee. Whoop. Get off me. All right, look at that. That is a nice loaf. It is a nice loaf. It is a nice loaf. Loafing around. All right, look at that. Beautiful. You got to let it cool at least, I'd say 2 hours, because there's a bunch of steam and all that inside, and it's still kind of somewhat cooking while it's still sitting here cooling off, right? So you don't want to cut it, and you don't want to put it in a bag or in the refrigerator or nothing like that, because it'll get condensation real quick and get like soft. We want it crunchy. It is crunchy. Yum. All right. We'll see you when I start cutting it up. All right. So, final thing that you got to do is cut up the bread, because can't eat the. Well, I guess you could eat the whole thing. Be kind of hard. All right. So, I sent you one of these, and this is a bread cutter, and they work really, really good. Only thing is sometimes they'll get, of course, with crumbs on it. So if yours, every so often I'll take one of these little like alcohol wipes for your glasses and stuff, and I'll just clean off the little rubber thingies here, because it gets crumbs and then it won't stick, and then it kind of moves around. And wherever you're putting it on, you want to make sure it's dry and it's clean, right? So I push it here, and then I squish it down, and it is like solid. This thing does not move, which is really good. And then this is how you dial it. You know, we have ours set at, oh, I don't know, maybe ½ an inch or so. And you guys can set yours to whatever you want. All right, so you grab the loaf. Now the ears are always, and these are called the ears, like right here. This is called the ear. This is gonna give you the hardest time because it's kind of like, it's cooked hard and it's a crust. And so the blade kind of, sometimes it'll sit on it, and you just get, you know, you don't get in a hurry. The first part of it goes pretty good. The last part you want to slow down, because you don't want to cut your fingers or anything. I always look at the blade when I'm spinning it and all, because the blade, it's pretty sharp. So anyway, you just crank it, and you go, you'll get your own rhythm, and you keep it flat up against the little black back thing here. You don't want it to move it around, just nice, but you don't want to squish it in there, but enough tension. And then when it hits that ear, like right here, it's gonna be, and it'll go right through. And then you pull off the piece, and I just do this right here. I lay that down. Grab the next one. Now notice this ear is moving right here, so I will, because it's big and hard, I'll put my finger and kind of support it until it gets started. And then it'll go like that one. And there you go. Nice and easy, no hurry. Hold it. And I always keep my eye, like I said, on that blade, because you do not want your finger cutting. Although if you cut your own finger, you're going to stop spinning the blade, obviously. And let's see on this next cut, we'll take a look and see how the middle, whoops, of the, what they call the crumb, is like the middle part of the bread. All right, let's take a look at the crumb. It's got real bubbly. It's moist, but it's not gummy. It looks pretty good. See, the first part of this, pretty easy. Here's where it's going to start getting a little bit harder, because you're hitting this crumb on the end part of it. And like I said, you just don't want to get in a hurry and go too fast. Just take your time. And I hold this right here because see that whole thing moving? Kind of until it starts cutting it. See, now just let it spin like that. It's no big deal. Because you can sit here and cut it like this without moving it. Give the blade time enough to cut. And you see, like down here, I'm pushing way down towards the bottom. Keep it tight up against there. As tight as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. A couple more cuts. We're almost there. And just go nice and slow, just like that. All right, that's probably good enough. And then what I do is I will line them all up, woo, like a deck of cards, and it looks so, it smells so good. Just line them up all even, and I do that just so they don't dry out. You know, it's all gonna keep moist longer. That way is all. And then, now I have a different way of loading it in to the bag. I don't know if it's gonna work for you, but I hold it upside down like this with one hand. Kind of stays together pretty good. I open up the bag and I show them just like that. I keep it still straight. Then I turn it upside down. Bounce a little bit. And I try to keep, I can do it this way with the grain or the cuts, so we can keep the pressure on it and it doesn't open up. Get it tight, nice and tight on that one. And there you go, it's gonna keep it together. And that is the finished loaf, ready to go. All right, that's it.